All right, guys, finally, this is attempt number 3 on this video, believe it or not. And the reason for it was I didn't have enough room on my iPad Air 2. I'd filled it up with some videos and comics and a bunch of other stuff. Music, I guess. So anyway, I want to kick off this one. This is part 2 of my music and concert DVDs and Blu-rays. I'm going to start out with some unusually shaped ones and then move into other stuff. So first up, these would be CD-DVD combinations or CD Blu-ray combinations. Why not start with Led Zeppelin? From the 2007-02 Arena concert in London, and what a concert it was. Sounds wonderful. Looks fantastic. These guys, you know, gray hair Jimmy Page on the guitar just seems to fit. You got Robert Plant still sounding kick-ass at 60, whatever he is. And Jason Bonham on the drums, taking John Bonham's son, picking up the mantle, and assuming the drum seat and doing a wonderful job driving this band. Here's on the back here is the list of songs that are on this. I don't really want to get into reading every single one, but let's just say it starts out with Good Times, Bad Times, and what better way to start? Has Dazed and Confused, Stairway to Heaven, and finishes up with Rock and Roll. Just a kick-ass show. Cashmere's on here. Just wonderful stuff. Looks great, sounds great. Highly recommend. Celebration Day, Led Zeppelin. Next, another CD-DVD combination. Big fan of Genesis and progressive music in general. This is Steve Hackett's take on older Genesis, and he does a great job. Stays pretty traditional. The few places where he does, you know, kind of rewrite a few things here and there, or not rewrite, but reinterpret, I guess, is tasteful and well done, and you're going to still recognize every single song just the way you like them from Genesis. The video on this thing is amazing. The lighting, just incredible the way it looks. Here's a list of the songs on here. One thing I thought was really cool is they did Supper's Ready, which has long been a legendary Genesis song, and you can see the rest of them inside here. Great show. If you like Genesis, you like progressive rock, this is a good one to get. All right, next up, rock pop fans, Billy Joel. Matter of Trust, The Bridge to Russia. 1987 show was legendary. The documentary on this is every bit as good as the concert because it shows the Russian people. Billy Joel walked among them, spoke to them. All of it's documented. Just a wonderful concert and special documentary. Inside is a pretty good sized book, I would say, that has the lyrics to every song, that has some write-ups. They certainly have a lot of pictures in this. Well, and this is him at his height. Young, vibrant, you know, doing things like that on the piano, which his hips and knees weren't allowed to do anymore, not to mention his age, but he was at the top of his game here, I think, and this is just a wonderful release. Really happy to have that, and I may play that a little later, unless something else grabs me, because I start looking at concert stuff and I want to put one on. Great to have on in the background, and when you're doing something, and then you can zoom in on anyone you want, and, you know, get your attention. Springsteen, big fan. London Calling, last appearance on official video of Clarence Clemens, who's died since this. 172-minute film. Starts out with London Calling, and it's a kick-ass version. You've got Jungle Land, The Rising. Well, here you go. Give you an idea. That's handwritten in Springsteen's handwriting. That's his handwritten set list, probably. Pretty close. Get an idea there what's on there. Very good. Next is another Springsteen, the 30-year anniversary of Born to Run. You've got the documentary Wings for Wheels, which is the original title of Thunder Road, by the way. I know a lot about Springsteen. I've read a lot and just been a fan since forever. I'm not going to say how long forever is, but 1975, a London concert is on here, the complete 2-hour plus show. Interesting thing about this concert and about, I guess, Springsteen in general is that he was not a fan of the hype that followed his appearance on the Time and Newsweek covers simultaneously, which has very rarely happened, certainly if not for an entertainer. And that appearance, along with a bunch of posters touting him coming to London, saying, "Is London ready for Bruce Springsteen?" Well, he saw these and started tearing them down in a tirade. He was really upset. By a short time, he was no longer angry, but he was nervous. He now there's all this hype. He's like, I don't know all this hype. I just want to come and do rock and roll. I don't want to be built as the next Presley or the next Dylan or the next anything. I just want to play rock and roll. And Springsteen said before, all he ever wanted, he didn't want the fame and the attention. He just wanted to be important in people's lives. He wanted his music to matter. He wanted people to look forward to listening to it and make a difference in their lives. And if fame came with that and money came with that, well then, great. Nothing wrong with that either. It's a wonderful concert. Most of Born to Run's on it, along with some classic Springsteen from the earlier years. His first 3 albums also. Yeah, 3 albums, I guess. Was Born to Run is third. Greetings from Asbury Park, The Wildly Innocent, and the East Street Shuffle. Yeah, first 2 albums done. Great stuff. Highly recommend this one. 2 CDs and 2 DVDs. And then last of the odd-shaped ones that I can think of. I mean, there may be another one floating around that I missed. Probably my one of my most prized possessions for a lot of reasons. One is I'm a Springsteen fan. 2 is my favorite Springsteen album, I think. It's right up there with Born to Run, and that is Bruce Springsteen's Darkness on the Edge of Town. This one I love for a lot of reasons. First of all, there's a spiral notebook inside of this very thick box that holds this. It needs to be because of. This is just a reprint of the cover, by the way, of the album, but it looks really great. And they actually make it look worn. It's not, believe me. I take pristine care of this thing in particular. But this looks worn too. It's an exact reprint of the notebook that Springsteen actually carried around with all the lyrics in it. And this has got, I mean, this is just amazing. This is, let me take out the inserts here for a minute. How do you, this is his actual handwriting and actual notes that are reprinted with lyrics, with notes about the album. You've got some stuff that you can also read. Well, you can read the other stuff too. This is actual. It's just amazing. The actual handwriting of lyrics and how he rewrote it and changed things and moved this to here and crossed that out. And I don't know anything that's like this that's been released. And maybe somebody else can enlighten me, but I don't know. It didn't have a title. It just was called Album 4 for a while. Somebody spilled some coffee. Darkness on the Edge of Town was the first song, though, at that time, or one of them. And I guess he starred the ones he thought would be on it, and the other ones maybe not. In fact, not all those made it, now that I'm looking at it. Some of them, I don't know what they are. Amazing stuff. Now you've got the remastered CD here, which is great. And then later on, though, you've got The Promise. There's a Blu-ray here. The Promise is great. This is the making of Darkness on the Edge of Town, which is great. Then you've got, I'm sorry, what is The Promise? The Promise isn't what I just said, because here's The Promise, the making of it. What the heck's The Promise then? There's so much on this I forget sometimes. Oh, these are the lost sessions. These are some additional songs that didn't make it. That didn't make it onto the album. Like The Promise, for one. And other songs that are just classics. Or should have been classics, maybe. Then you've got the making of The Promise. That's here. That's in this. I love the way this whole thing's packaged. And then finally, along with a lot of pictures and stuff, you've got this. This is the actual concert. Oh no, I'm just taking. This is the Darkness on the. I love this. Darkness on the Edge of Town redone. So what he does, he goes back and he re-records all these songs live on stage without an audience, which you would think wouldn't be good. It's kick-ass. It's awesome. It's really good. And then finally, the last DVD in here is the Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band from Houston, 1978. It's a bootleg house cut, they call it. But it's the full show. It's everything. It's amazing. Really, really recommend this. If I could only get one Springsteen thing, this would be it. It's just incredible the way it's put together. I think it's pretty pricey. I got it on sale at Amazon. But I probably paid, I don't know, $60 or $70 for this anyway. And I would have paid twice that if I had to. Nice little booklet in here that has all the lyrics to all the songs on the album. And then and some others that didn't make the album, like The Promise. So really like this, like the way it's done. And then here's the sheet that was on the back of this originally. I saved it. So you've got 1, 2, 3 CDs and 1, 2 Blu-rays. 3 Blu-rays, I'm sorry. 3 Blu-rays, 3 CDs. So well worth the whatever I paid for it. And it might have been 80, I don't remember anymore. I have to go back and look up my Amazon purchases. But I bought this in advance of when it was coming out, and it arrived at my door, I think, the day it came out, or maybe the day before. I'm not sure anymore. Pretty quick. PDQ. Love it. Okay, spent a lot of time on that one, but to me, it's probably the best thing I have in my music collection for tons of reasons. Quality as well as just overall packaging and everything. Speaking of quality and overall packaging, how about the Beatles anthology? Taken from the 60s right straight through to the end of their days as the Beatles. And then you got interviews with the remaining Beatles, the living Beatles at the time that this was made in the 90s, which was George Harrison, Paul McCartney, and Ringo Starr. Now, of course, it's just Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney left. Hard to believe that John Lennon was killed in 1980, but certainly it happened. Great set. I'll just show you what, just take one of them out of here at random. Each one of these has a kind of a different look on the front based upon what was going on. By the way, I should mention collector of stuff, Monty, who not only asked me to do this video originally, but also chimed in with some great comments and was pleased that I gave him a pseudo shout out. I did I mentioned Monty, but and I put collector of stuff in the in my comments, but his YouTube site is collector of stuff, all one word. Monty, he's I believe he's a musician by trade. I'm guessing he's a pianist because he plays a kick-ass piano. I did some Christmas tunes. Hopefully he does some more of that. But also collects comics, collects figures and stuff. He mentioned my Beatles glasses up here. Target, I got those, by the way. They're relatively cheap. I'm never going to take them out of there, but I think they look great on the shelf. Anyway, Monty, collector of stuff, wanted me to do this, and he's a big Beatles fan. So Monty, if you don't have the anthology collection, man, you should get it. It's well packaged. It's well done. Of course, you got the classic Apple logo on all the discs. Quality of this stuff is amazing considering how old it is. And I highly recommend this 5 DVD set of the Beatles anthology. It was on TV as a mini-series, but owning this, I put this, I don't know how many times, just tons of times. Also own the CD someplace around here. I don't know, I'll get another area for CDs, but can't beat the Beatles anthology, and I enjoy the video. But that's it for the oddly shaped or box sets, I think, the bigger box sets anyway. I shouldn't say that. I got some more, don't I? Never mind. Let me move on to what's over here. I did move around a lot of stuff to get at all this stuff. This one going for like $300 on eBay. What's up with that? I got it for $14.95 used. For some reason, this thing's selling for unbelievable prices. I think I got it listed right now for like $99 on eBay. If it sells, I'll sell it. I don't care. But mine's got a little slit in it for some reason along the spine. But the inside looks good. And that is The History of Rock and Roll. Look it up on eBay. It's like people getting $300 for it. I don't get it. It's 5 DVDs. It's 10 Titanic hours of the greatest rock ever. And it really is. It's got some great stuff on this. Each one of the discs takes kind of a separate look at things. It's got a nice booklet with it. In fact, the booklet may be the way to highlight this thing, but I'll just give you an idea. I'll talk about disc 1. It opens up with Chuck Berry, Roll Over Beethoven, and each one has like musical snippets, along with, it's a documentary, so you're going to have some voiceover talking about the era, the song itself, the performer. During the Pacemakers, Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying, The Temptations, The Way You Do Your Things You Do. George Martin talking about the Beatles, and the Beatles doing Twist and Shout. Brian Epstein talking about the Cavern Club, and the Beatles doing Bebop-A-Lula. The Stones doing I Can't Get No Satisfaction, Herman's Hermits, The Kinks, You Really Got Me, The Supremes, You Can't Hurry Love, Love and Spoonful, Do You Believe in Magic, The Young Rascals, Good Lovin', I'm skipping around here. The Mamas and the Papas, Creek Alley, great song. The Who Can't Explain. The Hollies, Carrie Ann. The Stones doing Painted Black. The more popular The Jesus comment that the Beatles made in the aftermath of that, the burning of the Beatles albums. That's all on disc 2. But every single, I think I said disc 1, but that's disc 2. Disc 1 has got Rollover Beethoven, Chuck Berry. Petty Page, How Much Is That Doggy in the Window? To show you the contrast of what was available. Those were the big hits. How Much Is That Doggy in the Window? Which, I got nothing against that song, but then you've got Elvis Presley, Hound Dog, Don't Be Cruel, Blue Suede Shoes, Jerry Lee Lewis, Whole Lot of Shaking Going On, Buddy Holly and the Crickets doing Oh Boy, the Everly Brothers, Bye Bye Love, Roy Orbison's Only the Lonely, Danny and the Juniors at the Hop. You know, you just, and throughout this, again, is a documentary talking about what was going on, the history of the day. It is a very well-made set, put out by Warner Brothers, but out of print, apparently. Well, not apparently, it is out of print. That's why it's going for what it's going for. Each disc looks different. There's 5 of them. That's what they look like. It's in good shape. The inside part is in great shape. The outside, like I said, my outside of the booklet's in great shape. The outside of mine has got a little slit in it, and I'll show you in a minute. Which is why I'm only asking $99 for it on eBay, but doesn't really matter. I don't care if I sell it or not. I like it quite a bit. See the slit? There. So it looks like someone took a knife to it or something. I don't know. Still looks good. History of Rock and Roll. If you can find it, I got it for $14.95 at a place called Soundgarden, Syracuse, New York, and Baltimore. The only 2 places for Soundgarden. But look for this in your used record stores and used CD stores, because most of these places are not going to sell it for $200 or $300. They're going to sell it for what I got it for, $14.95 for 5 discs, baby. That's that set. Continue along with another box set here. This one is, this is interesting. Saturday Night Live, 25 years of music. You think some good people about Saturday Night Live? Absolutely. You got Billy Joel, Only the Good Die Young, Ray Charles, What I Say, Carly Simon, You're So Vain, The Grateful Dead doing Casey Jones, Driving That Train, Simon and Garfunkel, The Boxer, Joe Cocker, and John Belushi, being Joe Cocker, doing Feeling All Right. That's worth it alone for what I paid for this, which wasn't much, by the way. Look for this kind of stuff, by the way. You can find these at FYE for like maybe $20 for five DVDs used. They're in great shape. I think that's about what I paid for this. And I get time off or money off as well. But you can see some of the stars that are on this thing. There's also comedy sketches and Saturday Night Live interviews as well on this thing. So you pick up, you know, a lot of cool stuff along the way. Who else is on this? The band, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, James Brown, I Feel Good, Queen, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Randy Newman, I Love L.A., The Go-Go's, We Got the Beat, Rick James, Super Freak, Super Freaky, John Mellencamp with Pink Houses, The Bangles with Hazy Shade of Winter, Tom Petty, The Heartbreakers, Free Fall, and I'm skipping all over the place. There's so many things, I'm cutting out a lot. You got George Harrison on this, I believe, somewhere. I can't find him. I believe he's on here with Paul Simon, if I'm not mistaken. Neil Young doing Rockin' in the Free World. Roy Orbison doing Pretty Woman. Ricky Martin doing Livin' La Vida Loca. How can you miss with that one, right? Eric Clapton, Wonderful Tonight. Paul McCartney, Hey Jude. Counting Crows Round Here. Blind Melon, No Rain, if you remember them. Yeah. Alanis Morissette, Hand in My Pocket. Jewel, Who Will Save Your Soul. Hanson does Mbop. Well, there you go. That's reason to get it alone. Hanson, better band than a lot of people gave them credit. They actually had some talent. But anyway, Mbop, that was their big hit, right? Let me move on to some of the other stuff that's on the shelf over here that I kind of took off my other shelves. Monty, this is the one I was talking about. This is the one I think, it's a DVD, but I think it's the best one. I was at this show. I used to have my tickets for it someplace. I got to dig those out. I used to have my tickets right in this, but somehow they got taken out. I don't know what I did with them. I think I was going to laminate them at one point, and then I didn't. I was at this show. This was July, sometime in July. My wife was pregnant with our youngest son, and we saw this concert from New York City. And I probably talk about it briefly. I couldn't get tickets. They were sold out when I went to to buy them on Ticketmaster. I waited in line. I had them in the queue. I hit get them, and it froze. It sat there for, and I didn't want to back out because it was one of those shows that was selling fast. So, and it was the final show on the tour. So I was, really wanting to go. Anyway, I got a call from somebody from Ticketmaster who said, "Hey, I heard you wanted to go." I posted it on one of the boards someplace, like a Springsteen board. "Hey, we read that you wanted to go. We feel real bad that you couldn't get seats. We've got some seats that became available. We want to make them available to you, at the regular price that they were going for." I jumped at it. My wife and I had nosebleed seats, but they were wonderful. Sound was fantastic. This is a great video. Probably Springsteen at, I'm going to say, the height of his power in some ways. The band had come a long way from the early days. They were tighter. They sound great. The songs on here represent some of the best in Springsteen's career. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's a great, great show. Highly recommend it. And 2-disc set. Got some extras on it. Good stuff. Springsteen, live in New York City. All right, next up, the Doors collection. I like the Doors. And this features some long-form videos. You got the Doors live at the Hollywood Bowl. And some great stuff. So really, there's 3 different films on here. Dance on Fire, live at the Hollywood Bowl, and The Soft Parade. Those 3 are all within this collection. I recommend it. It was one of the first, believe it or not, it was one of the first things I got when I started buying DVDs, music DVDs. One of the first ones I bought was the Doors collection. When I moved from VHS, if you remember those days. This thing came out in 1999. Sounds about right. All right. Next one that Monty mentioned. And Monty, you were right. It's a great, great concert. Glad to have it. And really, the best Queen concert is Queen live at Wembley Stadium. Just a great. I gotta put this on too again. I haven't seen this in a while. It is great. Freddie Mercury, ultimate showman, super rock voice. I had the crowd in the palm of his hand, and I don't have ever seen a concert where somebody commanded the crowd quite as well as this one. Even Springsteen, and I've seen Springsteen command the crowd pretty darn well too. But something about this show. It says it's a magic show here in the booklet, and I would agree with that. I wouldn't argue that at all. Yeah. Complete concert footage, plus bonus footage on this one. Can't beat it. Okay, another Springsteen one. Love it. This is Blood Brothers. The story of them recording they re-recorded something. What was it? Trapped, I think, for some reason. And then while they were there, this is the start of them getting back together again. Springsteen had broken up the E Street Band, started another band, which was also a good band in the 90s, and finally got back together the E Street Band, which for my money is the only way to go with Springsteen. He did 2 albums, Lucky Town and Human Touch, without them. I think those were the only 2. And they were separated for some amount of time. 1995 was when this documentary brought about what would become the reunion tour. This is an interesting another Springsteen. Live in Barcelona. This one's kind of, first of all, people in Europe, they know every word, they sing every word. Amazing crowd. The crowd in this alone is worth watching. Just an amazing, amazing show from that standpoint. This would have been after The Rising came out. So you get a lot of songs from The Rising on this, whereas the other one was before The Rising. You've got much of The Rising. So if you like The Rising album, which was a great album, this would be one. And then he forgets the words to one of his songs. How about... can't think of which one it was now. Spirit of the Night. He forgets the words in the middle. He has to think about them. Performer's Worst Nightmare, they left it in the video, which I thought was really cool. He actually laughs at himself for forgetting his own words. But anyway, interesting for that reason, and because it's a great show. Next up is the complete video anthology of Springsteen. Some great videos on here. Up through the Ghost of Tom Joad. So you've got a lot of, let me show you the back here. straight videos, MTV type stuff. It's good. When you want to watch a video, there it is. I don't watch it very often, but you know what? I might as well show you this as long as I'm messing around with Springsteen here and showing all the Springsteen. I'll jump at two of these that I also have. Live in Dublin. Underrated, but good. This is not the E Street Band and not the band he put together in the 90s. This is another band with like fiddle players and horns. And so he does things like Old Man Tucker, the Erie Canal. Erie Canal's on. Oh, Erie Canal's on this one. Jacob's Ladder, When the Saints Go Marching In. Just some stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think would be something that a rock star would do. But Live in Dublin, good stuff. And then just got this one. Music Cares Tribute to Bruce Springsteen. So you've got a lot of people doing Springsteen songs. There you go. And then Springsteen closing it out with the E Street Band for the last 3 songs. And kind of the house band here for the 2 before that. But great stuff. Great tribute to Springsteen. He does a lot for people in general, so it's good that they did that. Let me move on to some of these. James Taylor live at the Beacon Theater. It's James Taylor. So he's doing Fire and Rain, Shower the People, You've Got a Friend, Mexico, Handyman, and so on. Great stuff. Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight. Something the Way She Moves. Great stuff. Next, a lot of Who. The Who. This one is 30 years. And you've got a wide variety of stuff on here. 30 years of maximum R&B. You've got them playing at the Monterey Blues Festival. You've got them playing from Tanglewood Music, something or other, the Olive Wright Festival, various different, the Shea Stadium, Giant Stadium. But the songs on here, and you can see what I'm talking about here. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Got a wide variety of songs on here. Mostly older stuff. Love Rain Over Me. Do they have Who Are You on this? Yeah, Who Are You is on this. So it goes up to the late 70s. Yeah, cool stuff. Actually, a pretty good DVD. I like John Denver. When I was a kid, I never did, but as I get older, I like him a lot more. Of course, he died in a plane crash. The plane was what happened with John Denver? In case you don't know, he was loved to fly. A big pilot. He had a lot of hours, but not enough on this experimental plane that he had purchased. I should say experimental. It was a new design, and what happened was apparently he couldn't reach. I understand he couldn't reach something. Was what if it was a brake or I know it was to switch over the fuel line. The fuel was low for some reason. I don't know why it was low, and because he couldn't reach to switch over to the other tank. I don't know if it was just he wasn't, his arms weren't long enough, or I don't know exactly. I'd have to reread it. I did read it once, but anyway, John Denver Wildlife Concert. Here's the songs that are on it. Sounds great, looks great. Great cause. Of course, John Denver very into wildlife and nature and so on. Here's another Who. I really like this. This is the Who was special guest at the Royal Albert Hall. So you've got a lot of other people doing some of their songs, kind of guesting on some of their songs. Guys like Eddie Vedder, Paul Weller, Bryan Adams, Noel Gallagher of Oasis, and so on from 2000. Classic stuff here, the back. Concert for New York City, love it. After the 9/11, this was really a celebration, getting together, and Adam Sandler is fucking hilarious on this thing. You got Bon Jovi, Destiny's Child, and the comments from Adam Sandler about Destiny's Child are better than Destiny's Child. The Goo Goo Dolls, Melissa Etheridge, The Who, Backstreet Boys, Paul McCartney, Elton John, John Mellencamp, Billy Crystal, James Taylor, Mick Jagger, and you've got people like Bill Clinton who appeared, Jerry Seinfeld, Hillary Clinton appeared. Will Ferrell does a beautiful spoof on George W. Bush, who was president at the time. Tom Daschle, just amazing. Giuliani, the Yankees are on this. Great stuff. Here's the back, in case you've never seen this. Heard it, I find it hard to believe, but get out of there. Find it hard to believe. There we go. That should focus it in enough where you can read what's on there. Great concert. Comes with a booklet, so on. All right, we're about 29 minutes in, and boy, I haven't even finished the ones I took off the shelf, much less the ones that are on the shelf over here. Billy Joel at Yankee Stadium, great show from 19, whatever it was. What was this? I don't know when this came out. 1990 maybe, somewhere around 1990. Great stuff here. 5.1 sound, so that's pretty cool. Santana live. This was after they had done after they'd come out with some remakes and some things, and they had a couple really big hits like Smooth with Rob Thomas. That's on here, so pretty good stuff there. King Crimson, Deja Vu. These are some songs that perhaps not as famous as Court of the Crimson King, but on here is Lark's Tongue and Aspic Part 2, which I've always enjoyed. Red, Three of a Perfect Pair, and quite a different. You can see some of the songs on there if you can get over the glare. Robert Fripp, man, he's just an unusual dude. And last on all the shelves, and I think I'm gonna have to do a third part. It's going on for way too long. Is the Midnight Special, another box set. Just picked this up not that long ago. Actually, my oldest boy and his wife got me this. Midnight Special was a show back on in the 70s and 80s, mainly 70s, mid 70s, and you got everything on here. There's a little booklet here that helps me out, but the discs are all different colors and look like this. And you've got Sly and the Family Stone, Jim Croce, Electric Light Orchestra, America, Alice Cooper, The Cars, Fleetwood Mac, Janis Ian, Aerosmith, The Village People, Barry White, Chaka Khan, Blondie, Gordon Lightfoot, Charlie Rich, Dobie Gray doing Drift Away, Edgar Winter Group doing Frankenstein, Billy Preston, Loggins and Messina, Mama Don't Dance, Robert Palmer, Bad Case of Loving You, Bonnie Tyler, It's a Heartache, The Hollies, Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress, Gladys Knight, The Thrill Is Gone, Dance With Me in Orleans. If you like older stuff, you'll like this. Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, Neil Sedaka, both versions. The OJs, the Bee Gees, AC/DC, the original singer. Bread, yeah, great stuff. Eddie Money, Two Tickets to Paradise, Kool and the Gang, Brownsville Station. So that's the Midnight Special. I'd recommend it if you like the older stuff. And that's it for this part. We'll mess around with another part here on part 3, I guess, because no way I can do all this in 2 parts. All right, take care, guys.